16 minutes and 42 seconds was as long as the press conference was yesterday that erupted the whole nation. Everybody's been talking about it since. Good morning to you, Trinidad and Tobago. Welcome to the Now Morning Show. And this morning, some fire this morning. We're going to get into some fantastic conversation. I hope that you're ready for it. I hope you have your tea, your coffee, everything that you need to get your breakfast ready. Good morning, Natasha.
Good morning. How are you this morning?
I am curious, excited.
Yeah, really looking forward to it.
And inquisitive. I don't know. I feel like I want to ask so many questions this morning.
I feel like we're going back to school.
Yeah. Well, you know, I know that yesterday the Ministry of Education would have made the announcement that, you know, from Monday, or forms 4, 5, and 6, all students, whether vaccinated or not, are to return to schools.
Yes.
And schools are also no longer required to provide online education as of Monday. Good morning, Ms. Legore.
Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning.
How are you going?
I see we have to start early with the backs this morning.
Well, it's not,
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Listen,
things. It's
people have to
things.
understand something. Backsum is just anything news and current affairs that is really prominent at the time. That's what backs means to me, people. It's not the
Bacchanal.
traditional
Bacchanal.
definition of backs. It's just things I get excited about, which are discussions in the public domain about things that are affecting our lives. And what a quick change of heart. Yes.
Yes.
But the minister
But you know, we've all been seeing throughout this pandemic that everything has been fluid, right? All the information has been coming, and as information is updated, things change.
Yeah,
And
true.
I'm curious as to what motivated the change. That is the part that I'm curious about. I don't know if we will find out, but hopefully we will.
Well, we'll definitely ask the minister. I mean, we know it's Tobago Thursdays, but when we have such a burning issue, we are not prone to leaving things alone. We try to get to it. Of course, we will get to the issues affecting Tobago. We do have Dr. Winford James coming back with us this morning because of the really poor connectivity yesterday. And don't worry, he is a Tobagonian as well. So he will fall, you know, right in line with the discussions, you know. But it's interesting what has happened. And I know that, and since day one, if you all remember, I always kept saying that I knew that there were going to be issues having the two pathways to education, the online and the physical school, just because we knew of the connectivity issues. It was one of the first things I raised because I was saying, we never ever have connectivity at home, right? And a lot of these schools don't even have proper labs.
Yeah.
You know, so I knew the connectivity would have been an issue. But let us welcome to the program at this time the Honorable Dr. Nyan Gadsby-Dolly, Minister of Education. Good morning to you, Minister.
Good morning, Natalee.
And thank you so much for joining us this early. I know you had a hard day yesterday, but hopefully we don't make it so much harder for you. But Minister, there seems to have been a rapid change of mind by the government. What caused this?
Natalee, primarily the situation dealing with attendance at school. What's happening is this. The government still holds it in this position that our vaccinated students are the safest ones to come out at this time. However, the government cannot close its eyes to the fact that we did not have the kind of attendance at school that would have allowed our schools to operate in the way we would have hoped at this time for Form 4 to 6 and allowed our students the best chance at success.
And you know what, Minister, isn't it kind of hypocritical, though, to say that the students are the safest ones to go to school when we have no idea how many of the teachers are vaccinated?
No, not at all. The vaccination of the students is for their safety. So regardless of if the students are vaccinated or not, they can be infected by anyone else. But if they are vaccinated, they have the greatest chance of not falling grievously ill. And that is the protection, the layer of protection that the government sought to ensure was present for the students. Because the teachers could be vaccinated, they could not be vaccinated. The security guards could not be vaccinated. The taxi driver could not be vaccinated. So it is not that the vaccination was to protect the teachers, it was to protect the students themselves. So that really was the thinking of the safety of the students.
Okay. All right, I understand that. But let us look at the fact that, okay, so we have the we had the online platform, we had those in the classrooms, and now everybody has to go back out. But just a half a week's notice when children have been home for a year plus, how do we expect them to get ready in such a short space of time? Why the rush is the question we're asking.
But the question is not the rush. I want you to think about what has been the clamor of so many parents, so many. I can tell you that I have had parents on my phone, always insisting the child needs to go to school. I've seen situations in Dartmoor. There was a situation in Woodbrook yesterday. So there's no matter of the rush. We said that school was opening for from 4 to 6, the vaccinated students. We had people saying that they could dress their children in uniform and bring them to school on the first day. So I don't know that there's a rush. This is 3 weeks after the October 4th date that school was carded to open. It is the same cohort of the students who were expected to come out to school. So at this point, I can tell you that we have quite a few schools who are allowing students to come. They have their school T-shirt and a pants and so on. You would remember that we made adjustments for SDA and so on, asking teachers and schools to be lenient. And so there's no reason that scenario cannot continue, as is already happening, to ensure that the students are getting to school. But Natalee, the issue is that we have our students who have not been coming out to school in the main. They have their exams to be completed and so. And the cry coming from the stakeholders, the NPTA is very strong, principals associations. We need our children back to school. We need them to come in. And therefore, it's not a matter of a rush. This is now 3 weeks after the students were supposed to be at school, and we are saying, come out to school, and let's get this show on the road. Parents, we've heard you. You've said that you don't want to take the vaccination at this time for the children. Okay, so let's get the show on the road. Let's get these children out to school, and let's get their practicals and so on. We have students who have examinations starting in November, practical parts of their courses. So the rush is to ensure that everyone comes out and we get everything going as it should, as we had hoped 3 weeks ago.
Are we sacrificing anything, though, even in terms of what the students will be able to learn in the space of time? Because we saw last year when it came on to this year, CAPE and SEA exams, we didn't do as well as we would normally do or as well as we'd like to do. Are we sacrificing their education for decisions based on the noise, if I can call it that?
Sacrificing their education. I wanted you to remember this. In 2021, our students did not have the chance to come out to do any practicals until February, with an exam facing them in July. So we are, for this cohort, aiming to do a lot better because we are in October and we are getting them out at this point in time, so that they have from now until next year to complete their practicals. The Form 5 would already be a bit behind. And so that is why what we've also asked is the schools, when the children come out, focus on completing their practicals and so on. So they would actually be in a better position this year to have a longer time to complete those practicals and to understand the principles. We are asking them to come out for their teaching as well. So this cohort stands to benefit from a longer time in school with their teachers than the last cohort of examination students. And so it is in an effort then to ensure that there is increased teaching time, increased time for practicals, increased time for absorbing the work, versus what would have happened this year based on our situation.
Minister, we heard from the CMO yesterday that 28 fully vaxxed people have succumbed to the virus. When you take that into consideration with the fact that there's a Delta variant out there, aren't we worried about all these 4 to 6 students back in one space, spreading COVID again and possibly throwing us into another lockdown?
There is a measure of risk associated with opening back of the country. And that's not just in the education sector, that's in everything. So we expect to the public service back out to work in November. We've seen the bars reopen. We've seen all of this happening. We see safe zones operating. All of these things are happening with a measure of risk. This is a pandemic. And therefore, that is why the government would have said that the safest students, the ones that are most protected, should come out first. But even given that time for this to materialize, it has not. And parents have said, well, we are prepared for our students to come out, for our children to come out, and to take that risk. And having given as much time as we could to allow and having collected the data to ensure that we are not reacting emotively, it is based on data, solid data that we have at the ministry, worrying data. We have said, well, we respect the decision of parents. It is a risk. It is a risk for anyone to be outside, but it's also a risk for those who are at home, children at home. If parents are going out, they can come home and bring the virus to them as well. This is a pandemic, and therefore it's a calculated risk, it's a balance, and that's why we follow the advice of the Ministry of Health. And so no more students than were targeted in the first place are coming out. When schools were opened on October the 4th, it was expected or hoped that 100% of our cohort would come out. That has not happened, and so materially, we are not bringing out any more than we expected to bring out in October.
And
so,
Minister, we have about a minute left with you, but what we heard from the Prime Minister about, thinking of making vaccines mandatory for students, is that something that's off the cards now? Know that we have both vaccinated and unvaccinated back in the classrooms for Forms 4 to 6 and expecting Forms 1 to 3 to go out from next year?
Not that one, you'd have to leave for the Prime Minister to answer, but I can tell you how we progress with this solution will have a lot to do with how we look as we go forward to how we progress in terms of vaccination.
All right, Minister, we have to leave it there, but thank you so much for giving us a little clarity surrounding the issue. And I'm really hoping that, this wasn't just a knee-jerk reaction to tutors' reaction to not teaching students online, and that it will work out for everybody.
As I told you, Natalie, we presented solid attendance data. That is the crux of the matter. It's our students and their education that's at the heart of any decision we are making. Yes, all stakeholders are important and all of their views are important, but at the heart of it, it's our students. And so we ask our parents, send their children out, ensure that they take the proper care of themselves, because this is a pandemic and we want them to be safe. At the schools, we will do our part.
All right, Minister, thank you so much for speaking with us this morning.
Welcome. Have a great day.
Same to you, Dr. Nyan Gadsby-Dolly there talking to us. So, guys, feeling any better about, what's happening and why the government took the decision that it did? Says, listen, a few days, but it's because the parents, we've decided this is what the stakeholders are asking for.
Yes,
we're giving
but I think that there are other measures that need to be considered as well. Like, I know we take it for granted that everybody has access to be able to say that they can go and buy uniforms, or even if you make considerations or whatever the case is. But things like passage to get to and from school, transportation costs are factors that we have to consider, and some parents already budgeted out for the month. So why not wait till November 1st? That's my question. Why not wait till the end of the month? Another week, it wouldn't do that much damage to the education system, I don't think. But that's just me. We're gonna take
it's not the government, The government is just respecting.
Yeah, I know, I understand, but I'm saying we still have to measure with a little bit. But damned if you do, damned if you don't. But let's take a quick break and come back with more inside the Now Morning Show. Stay tuned.
Dr. James? Dr. James? Morning. Good morning.
So that first interview was not the spotlight,
Dr. James, good morning. I am not hearing you. I don't know if you're muted. Right. How is your connectivity on your side this morning?
Sorry?
How is the connectivity on your side this morning? Good morning.
Well, it looks okay. I'm hearing you fine.
All right. We only have 10 minutes this morning, of course, because we had to, yes, we really had to deal with the decision made by the government yesterday to send back forms 4 to 6 out to school. So that kind of, took some of our time.
I just tell you, that is one of the reasons why I don't like to come on, because the time is too short.
I know, right? Yeah, but one of these days we'll be able to organize and get a good 20 minutes, man. One of these days. All right, so stand by for me. We're on a break. We'll come to you shortly.
All right.